So we are officially back from the summer break. That has been too long, with Zandvoort coming up in the next day or so. So with this iconic track coming up, let's talk about everything you need to know going into this Grand Prix weekend. So let's start off with the fun facts that you should know for this track. So the big one is, since its reintroduction to the F1 calendar in 2021, there has been only one driver that has won here, and that is Max Verstappen. He loves his home Grand Prix and the fans go crazy for him. We always get a good atmosphere at Zandvoort, but yeah, he is the only F1 driver that has won this race since 2021. However, the first time this track was actually originally raced on was in 1952, and this was when it was officially introduced to the F1 calendar. And bear in mind, there was only 8 races this season. So for Zandvoort to be one of the 8 races that season, that is real F1 heritage right there. Especially as this was only F1's 3rd official season. And then I talk about the reintroduction of this circuit in 2021, but actually, fun fact, this was supposed to be raced in 2020, but then we had a certain outbreak. So it's a shame we had to miss out on one more Zandvoort race, but that's not too bad because we've got lots to come. Hopefully it stays on the grid for many future races because it really is a great track. And then finally, the lap record has been set by Lewis Hamilton in 2021 with a 1 minute 11.097. So now let's look at things you need to look out for going into this weekend. So first of all, this is kind of a flip-flop track with its overtakes. So actually, in 2023, we had one of the most amazing races there. Yes, even though Verstappen still won, there were 188 overtakes. That is the official record for the amount of overtakes in a single race. I mean, it was so chaotic. Yes, there was lots of rain, then it didn't rain. We had Liam Lawson come into that race as well. It was just an amazing race. But that's the thing, we can get overtakes when it's a bit chaotic, but if there is no rain, it's a little bit less exciting, with there being 23 overtakes in 2022 and 24 in 2021. So I really do think there's not going to be that much action on the track. It'll be more action in qualifying, seeing where everyone goes, because a lot of cars could be up there, and it'll be interesting to see who's at the back of the grid. But if there's no rain, there's no chaos, I doubt there'll be too many overtakes, especially at a track that is quite a narrow track as well, and that's really the issue with one overtaking place on the long straight. Now, also, we come into this race as well with a really nice position in F1, where we actually have no idea who's going to top the charts at this race. So for the last 3 races, technically, we have had 3 different constructors who have looked the fastest. So in Spa, we had Red Bull. Verstappen looked ridiculously fast. Now, he didn't win the race, but it's because he had a penalty. Then in Hungary, we had McLaren domination. Again, they looked brilliant in Hungary with that 1-2 in qualifying and then the 1-2 in the race. And then in Silverstone, of course, we had the Mercedes domination, with potentially them being able to have secured a 1-2 as well there. But Russell sadly had a DNF. But genuinely, it could be Mercedes, McLaren, or Red Bull at the top of the podium. Now, for me, in my opinion, I do think it's going to be a bit more like Hungary, as that's sort of what the track layout's like. It's a more narrow track. Yes, there's a few high-speed corners, but it's not that fast. The average speed of this track isn't too crazy, so I do think it'll be a lot more like Hungary, harder to overtake, more of a McLaren versus Red Bull battle. So most likely it'll be a lot of battling, with Verstappen potentially leading, with both McLarens trying to get past him, or potentially the other way around, with Verstappen trying to catch them. Either way, I do think it will be more of a McLaren versus Red Bull fight going into this weekend. And then finally for this video, because we're going to keep it nice and short, I'm just going to do a quick summary, as I can't go too in depth into the upgrades for now, as I am on holiday, so I don't have too much time to look into them. However, the rumoured upgrades are as followed. Ferrari are one of their teams that these aren't actually rumours, so Ferrari will definitely be bringing a new front wing, new parts to the floor, and potentially some new parts to the rear suspension. So Ferrari have massive upgrades coming into this weekend. So I do think they'll be closer to the top of the grid, but from the last few races, I still don't think it'll be good enough to see them fighting really for the podiums, as I think Mercedes, McLaren, and Red Bull are just that level above. Now, I know Leclerc got a podium in Spa, but he was quite lucky to get it with the Russell disqualification, and with Norris and Verstappen dicking about further back on the grid, it gave Ferrari a nice little chance there, but I don't think they're just about ready yet. Then we have Red Bull, who have an underfloor development potentially rumoured to be coming in for Zandvoort. Then for Mercedes, again, this isn't actually rumoured, but they will be bringing back the underfloor upgrades that they bought to Spa. Now, the reason it didn't work in Spa is because apparently the high-speed corners really did not work with the aerodynamic setup they were trying to work with, as it brought a lot of bouncing to the car. However, they think going into a race like Zandvoort, definitely not as fast as Spa as a circuit, so they think the bouncing won't be too much of an issue, so they're hoping they will see the improvements on tracks similar to Zandvoort. And then with McLaren, not much has been said, but apparently they're going to be bringing 2 upgrade packages to the next few races, and the first package could be coming to Zandvoort. And again, with Williams, very vague with how they're talking about the upgrades, but again, it's not rumoured, it's actually been posted by Williams on their actual official website. They will be bringing upgrades to the Dutch GP. What those upgrades will be, they haven't really talked about it, but I'm excited to see them because I really hope Williams have a turn in form, because it's not nice seeing them at the back of the grid. But anyway, that about wraps up everything you need to know going into the Dutch GP. I, for one, am extremely excited for this race. Of course, we haven't had a race for ages, so it's always nice to be back into the swing of F1. Summer break over. Sadly, we do have another break soon of about a month that hasn't really been spoken about a lot, but Zandvoort coming up, it always brings a little bit of juiciness to it. Hopefully we can see some action with some rain or some chaos, because hey, Liam Lawson coming, the rain last season, it really did put a show for us in 2023, and hopefully it can do the same in 2024. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later for another F1 video. Bye bye.